The more fat in your diet, the less pyruvate you make. Make sense? Okay, let's do our last question. 7. Why do they lack neuromuscular coordination if you have beriberi? Not producing ATP to run muscles. I'm not making enzymes. If you read the first paragraph, it's also involved in neurotransmitters, which tell my muscles what to do. So worthless trivia, if you become pregnant, make sure you take a prenatal vitamin. Pregnant women can lose B1 in enough levels that you start getting seizures. It's not just the hormones from being pregnant, which is what your husband will say. It can be B1 deficiency. You'll actually go into seizures, coma, death, kind of thing. But as long as you're taking a regular vitamin, it shouldn't be a concern. Do okay on thiamine. So water-soluble vitamin, don't wash it.
Sorry, we were talking about cancer patients. Why thiamine is used?
Because you can't build like ATP, you can't build enzymes. So the brain and the muscles can't talk. The neurotransmitters do.
We're talking about beriberi, right?
Yes.
So you need thiamine
Yes.
to make ATP,
Yes.
to do anything,
Yes.
but most importantly to make neurotransmitters.
Yes. It's one of the jobs of it as well.
Right.
So let's go back one more page. Find the one we did last time on colons. We're almost done. Find your colon. Yes, that's always good for a laugh at a party. Let me show you my colon. I had a neighbor show me his colonoscopy picture. But thanks for that. That's just yeah. Let me show you. Small town. Let me show you my colonoscopy. Okay. Thanks.
You wanted to see it.
Yeah, I really wanted to see it. Thank you for showing me parts of you I didn't know I wanted to know. Right. So remember we had Shannon who has the blockage. Find question 4. We're going to do a little review here. Remember, this is the girl that had the blocked valve. So her intestines were all messed up. So now we should know. Number 4. What reflex is giving her the cramps after a meal?
Gastroenteric, gastroileac.
What is it?
Gastroenteric and gastroileac.
Very good. Gastroenteric and gastroileac. Let's review that. Gastroenteric and gastroileac. Who's talking to whom? Stomach talking to intestine. And why would a stomach talk to intestine after a meal?
Push.
Push. Because I need you to shift down so the food's coming. So if I have a blocked intestine and the stomach says push, what are my intestines going to have to do?
Push.
Push hard. There's something in the way. You beat the hell out of it. Bang! So you're going to get a cramp. Because the intestines want to push the food out. So that's the cramp. Okay, we're going to skip number 5 for just a second. We'll go to 6. She has diarrhea, which is loss of water, in case you don't know that. What vitamins might be deficient if I'm having diarrhea? Water soluble. They just come squirting on out with the water. Okay. But now we're going to try pinning it down. If you go back to the first page, looking at her lab data, look at her hematocrit for me. What is her hematocrit number? 32. What were normal females?
45.
45 something. So that's the number of red blood cells. So her red blood cell count is way low. You're dying at 30s. So what vitamin would account for her having low red blood cell count?
B12.
B12. Yes. What's the job of vitamin B12 from last term? Make blood cells. So it uses enzymes as part of metabolism. Its job is to tell your body to make RBCs. So if I am diarrheaing it out of my body, I'm not going to be able to make blood cells. My hematocrit will be low. And what do we call the disease when your red blood cell count's low?
Anemia.
Anemia. So her low vitamins is making her secondary problem anemic. So think as future nurses, she blocked her intestines and now she's anemic because of the vitamin problem it caused. Make sense? So a lot of things can go wrong when you just plug one tube. So explain on 10, why is she fatigued? Why would she be fatigued?
Not enough oxygen.
Not enough oxygen, right? I have less oxygen in my body, my muscles can't do it. So my vitamins, B12 is low, it's supposed to make blood cells, therefore I'm losing blood cells, therefore I'm anemic, therefore I'm fatigued. So now we gotta go up to question 5 and explain the stool thing. Not the stool thing, but the diarrhea thing. So let's figure out something about diarrhea. Everyone's favorite. We're gonna make a graph. I'm going to do stretch over time. Stretch of what?
Your colon.
Sure, of your GI tract, of your colon. This could be your stomach. This is something. So let's say I eat a huge meal. What will happen to the stretch of my organs? It should go up. So you know this graph. When something goes up, the body says, bring it down. How could my body get rid of the stretch?
Push it out. Push it out.
Not yet. Something
Break
goes
it down. Break it down.
Break it down. So choice 1 is to digest it. I will melt it and it will go away. If that doesn't work or doesn't going good enough, then I push. So you overeat at Thanksgiving, you feel like you're going to vomit. Tell me what's going on.
You're pushing.
I stretch my stomach, I can't digest it, my stomach says puke it out. Right? I got to get rid of it somehow. So, if you had no stretch in your organs, what would they do?
X-ray.
They'd stop, right? No activity. So when I stretch my organs, they turn on and push. They're not stretched, they turn off.
Isn't it when no activated, like the hormone's supposed to go to your
Right, so your cephalic phase would kick in. So when it's lunchtime, you tell them to start. But if you're just sitting there normally, they shouldn't do anything unless there's food in there. So let's do an example of this. Let's give you, I don't know, 50 pounds of prunes. Yeah!
A lot of prunes.
Let's put that on YouTube.
Oh.
All right. Hypothetical. Let's do some prunes. Okay. Tell me, what is the doctor word for what's in a prune?
Fiber.
Fiber. Okay. Any dried fruit would work. Okay. Fiber means what in English? Non-digestible. Why is fiber non-digestible? What's it made out of? Cellulose. You don't like that? See, plant cells. So next time you chow down on a salad, say hello to fiber. That's what it is. But you cannot digest it. No mammal can. So I eat 3 bags of prunes, which are almost 100% fiber. What happens to the stretch of my intestines if I can't digest it? Take a stretch, and what do they say? Push. Squirt it on out. So the more fiber I have, the more stretch I get. All right? Which equals the more speed I have, right? Things are pushing faster. So tell me then why I'm losing vitamins and I have diarrhea. And losing water. Why am I losing all this stuff? Water soluble? And why am I losing water? Just because it's fast, why is the water coming out? Not absorbing. So when I go too fast, I lose my absorption. I'm going so fast, I can't. Yes?
Doesn't fiber also attract water? Or?
Yes, depending on the type of fibers, soluble versus non-soluble. Right? So you have yourself a grand time. You push faster. That gives you less absorption. Diarrhea. Right? Yeah.
No.
So what's grandma and grandpa? Grandma and grandpa are not eating their fiber. What's the symptom?
Constipation.
Constipation. Explain to me why low fiber makes you constipated.
Everything stays.
If I don't stretch, what happens? It just sits there. And when it just sits there, what am I absorbing? Everything. What do you call feces that's hard? Constipation. You lose all the water out of it. Right? So fiber's job is to regulate basically the speed. If I can't digest it, the only thing I can do is push. So let's go back up to question 2. She has